Black Panther takes place after the events of Civil War and stars Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, King T'Challa. Also guys, stay until the end of this video because I'm going to show you guys how you can win this Funko Pop of Black Panther himself. So stay tuned on how you can win this. And yeah, as you can see, I like Funkos. So Black Panther takes place a week after the events of Captain America Civil War, and it showcases T'Challa, and he's coming home to Wakanda, a very technological city located in Africa. It's hidden, nobody really knows about it. They are a disclosed city, and they are very technologically advanced. But as he's coming forth as the new king, this new guy comes up out of nowhere who has some lineage to his family and decides to take him on as king. So there's like a battle of birthright as these two guys verse each other in order to be king. And this was a really good Marvel movie. I really enjoyed it, and just the culture that was involved in it. This really does stand out a lot from other Marvel films. I feel as though it has its own standing as a film, as a Marvel film. A lot of the Marvel films that have been coming out have been very dependent on being in the MCU. There's a lot of Easter eggs in these movies, and sometimes that can hinder the films because it can't stand on its own. But with this film, even though there were subtle hints to what we've already seen in the MCU, such as certain characters from Civil War and Age of Ultron, I felt as though this film really stood out on its own. There's definitely something about it where this makes you feel like this is an MCU film, but it's a different corner of the MCU that we haven't seen before. It was kind of the same feeling you got when you saw Thor for the first time, and it was this new environment that you had never seen before, Asgard, and it's the same feeling here with Black Panther, where you're introduced to this new city of Wakanda. This is a very technological city, and probably one of the best parts of the film. A lot of the stuff that they do here in terms of technology and what they're able to capably do are really cool. And I really want to see how the city affects the rest of the MCU after this film and perhaps Infinity War, because I just felt like this was the best part of the film. And it's not just a technological city, it's an African city. I really enjoyed how it wasn't just like this futuristic city, it was very African as well. This is a very African movie, and it needs to be. It's Black Panther. And I really enjoyed that, and I was so intrigued by the environment and the culture that was presented in this. Chadwick Boseman, also as Black Panther, does an amazing job in this. I loved him in Civil War. He was a guy that saw an issue, and he got shit done. And in this, you see him kind of going through some doubt. Can he be king? Can he go forth running Wakanda? But at the same time, you still see that he's trying to maintain that stability. He's trying to be that guy in charge. And I really like that. He's definitely a guy of authority. You don't mess with T'Challa. He is the king of Wakanda. He's Black Panther. And I really like how the movie just sets that tone. I really like that a lot. This is a character that you just don't mess with. He's the Black Panther. And even though the movie presents characters that we haven't seen before because we've never been to Wakanda before, I really appreciated how the interactions between T'Challa and everyone in his family and just his loved ones, I love how the character interaction makes you feel like these are characters. Even though we don't know them and we've never really seen them before, the interaction makes it work and you are really invested in the characters that you are seeing on the screen. That can sometimes hinder a film where you see two characters interacting that know each other, but you've never seen this interaction before. But if it's good and it's believable, it works, and it works for this film. I really enjoyed that. This film also has a really good villain, and I've noticed that a lot since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I've noticed that the villains are definitely getting better in these films. I really just liked his motivation. This is Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, which this director has worked with Michael B. Jordan in the past. Like, he's in like all of his films. I really enjoyed him. I really did. He stood out. He is kind of like where we have like everyone who is kind of in this African environment. We have this outsider from America, and he's a very dope character. He's a guy that comes and decides to take the throne, and I really understood where he was coming from. Because this is someone who basically feels like something has been taken away from them. And he kind of feels like this is somewhat his birthright. He has a right to be in Wakanda, and he comes up out of nowhere, and he decides to challenge T'Challa, basically. And I really like that. In some portions of the character, you understand, and you sometimes agree with him. But because of what he decides to do with the resources given to him, you know, you understand why he's doing it, but you also understand that this is a villain. So yeah, I really enjoy how Marvel is just getting really good with these villains. Now, let's go in the negatives real quick. Andy Serkis is back in this. He was in Age of Ultron, and we all know that he plays Claw, who is a Black Panther villain. There was some hint of comedy that was coming from his character, and sometimes it worked. Sometimes I was like, ah, that's really cool. But then other times I was like, I don't know, man. It wasn't really anything that I minded. I mean, I thought it was cool that he was making an appearance in this because, you know, obviously you know, they need to like use him. He is a Black Panther villain, but his performance sometimes comes off as very drunk and just a guy that jokes around. That's the one nitpick that I'm gonna say. The other negatives just kind of have to do with the pacing of the movie itself. The pacing of this film is very similar to the first Captain America movie, and that's without the montage sequence in the first Captain America movie. Thank God. I don't agree with that montage sequence. They should have just like kept the movie like on one scene. And this film does that. This film does have a focus on scenes. There's an awesome scene that takes place in a casino where it's one take. I really enjoyed that. But this film is a lot like the pacing of the first Captain America movie, where it goes from one scene to another, from one location to another. It was just really fast. And I was still able to comprehend what happened in the scene before, and I was able to go to the next scene, but it just felt like the pacing was just kind of fast a little bit. Like I said, just a little nitpick, but overall, I really liked this film. I liked how it was a film that wasn't really reliant on just being a Marvel film. There are characters from like other films that are in this, but there isn't a whole lot of Easter eggs. I liked how this film was trying to be kind of a film on its own. I liked how it was trying to portray a different culture of the MCU. I found that awesome. And like I said, Black Panther is just a badass. So yes, guys, those are my thoughts on Black Panther, and this is how you can win this Black Panther Funko. Okay, number 1, you have to be subscribed to the channel. Number 2, you have to like this video. Number 3, you have to follow me on my social medias. That includes Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook page. And then you have to comment on this video saying that you did this stuff. And then I'm gonna pick a comment down below and reveal in the spoiler review who won the Black Panther Funko Pop. So like I said, subscribe, like this video, follow me on my social medias, and comment so I know that you did all this. So yes, guys, that was my review to Black Panther. Comment down below what you thought of this film if you've seen it yet. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and gaming content. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.